Welcome to our tutorial on how to edit the BWUSER.INI file. This tutorial will show you how you can add dollar signs or commas to your forms, control defaults and preferences by adding sections to the file called the BWUSER.INI. Each computer that has Sage BusinessWorks installed will also have a BWUSER.INI file in the user's Windows profile folder. This file contains such information as the program and data path, the type of installation, and some other options. In this tutorial, we will be showing you how you can edit this file to control certain preferences and defaults for certain functions in the program. This file is specific to each Windows user and must be edited on each computer and for each user that uses Sage BusinessWorks on the same computer. Or if using in Terminal Services or Citrix, this file would need to be edited for each Terminal Services or Citrix user that desires these edits. You can edit this file to change certain defaults, such as adding dollar signs and commas to your forms, preventing summary information from printing on pick tickets, printing your accounts payable check register double-spaced, controlling the checkbox for the print packing list in the invoice printing options window, and also for printing 4 digits on your accounts payable or payroll checks and payroll check stubs. We have an article in the knowledge base on how to edit the BWUSER.INI file. You can browse out to our knowledge base at support.na.sage.com. Search for how to edit BWUSER.INI. The article number is 37251, and you may want to go ahead and print this out because we will be using this article during the tutorial. Now first we want to locate the BWUSER.INI file. This file is located on your local C drive. So if you go to your My Computer or this PC and open up your C drive, scroll down and find a folder called Users and open up the Users folder. Here you should find a folder that is your Windows user profile. Open up that folder. Now what we're looking for is a folder, a yellow folder called App Data. Now App Data is a hidden folder. So if you don't see this folder, it's because you're not showing hidden files and folders. If you need to show hidden files and folders, the easiest way to do that is to go to your Windows Start. In the search, type the word folders. It'll come up with File Explorer options. When it comes up, you'll want to go to the View tab, and on the View tab, select to show hidden files, folders, and drives. Apply that and OK. Now when we go back out to our C drive, find our Users folder, find your Windows Profile folder. We now have a yellow folder called App Data. We open up that folder, and then in that folder we find another folder called Roaming. In the Roaming folder, Sage, and then Sage BusinessWorks. So it's buried pretty deep. You want to make sure you follow that full path. So again, it's on the C drive under the Users, then find your user, then open up App Data. Remember, if that's not showing, it's a hidden folder. You need to show hidden files and folders. Open App Data, then open Roaming, Sage, and Sage BusinessWorks. And here we find the file called BWUSER.INI. Now if we open up this file, it's going to open up in Notepad. We can see that it does display a program and data path. It displays the type of installation. On mine, I've got a server installation. We also have several other sections for order entry and payroll that are already by default added to your BWUSER.INI file. Now when we pull up the article from the knowledge base on how to edit the BWUSER.INI file, the first one that is listed is creating a section called Options. Here we can add different parameters to control the checkbox as to whether or not we're going to default to check the box to print invoice with prices, invoice without prices, or print packing list. Let me show you that screen. Now currently by default, in order entry, when you go to print any invoice, on the invoice printing options, by default, the invoice with prices and print packing list are checkmarked. Now, if you would like to have this unchecked by default so you don't forget and have to uncheck it all the time, let me show you how you do that. So we're going to go out to our C drive, go down to the users folder, open up your Windows user folder, app data, roaming, Sage, Sage BusinessWorks. And here we find the BWUSER.INI that we're going to open and edit. On our document, it's going to reference a section and parameter. Anything that's in brackets would be the section. Anything below included in the brackets are the parameters within that section. Now, to control the checkbox for the invoice printing options, it shows that we need to add a section called Options. We do not already have that included on our BWUSER.INI file, so we're going to add that right now. We're going to call this Options, and then under that, we're going to put the parameter to default to have the invoice with packing slip default to no. We don't want to see that checkbox in there, so we're going to say invoice with packing slip equals no. We're going to file and save. Now when we go to post and print our invoice in order entry, we'll see that the checkbox is now defaulted to be unchecked. Another parameter that we can add to the options section is if you would like to see the 4-digit year print on your accounts payable and payroll checks. Let me show you. Currently, when you print your accounts payable or payroll checks, we always use a 2-digit year. If you would like to see the 4-digit year print, you can control that with a parameter in the options section. So again, by going out to your BWUSER.INI file, looking at our article, you'll see that we have to have the section called Options, and we're going to put a parameter called 4-digit equals yes. So let me bring up my BWUSER.INI. I already have an Options section, so I'm just going to add another parameter called 4-digit equals yes. Then I need to go to File and Save in order to save the changes that I made. Now that I've made that change, let's print a payroll check. We can now see that our check has printed out with the 4-digit year. Another option that we can add is the ability to view our check register in accounts payable, the summary check register, as double-spaced. Let's take a look at it. Currently, when I run my summary check register, it just comes up as a single-spaced report. If we would like to see this double-spaced to make it a little easier to read, we do have the option to set that in our BWUSER.INI file. We need to bring up our BWUSER.INI file, and it shows us that we need to add a section called Accounts Payable. So if we look, we currently do not have a section heading called Accounts Payable. We have Order Entry, Payroll, and Options, but nothing for Accounts Payable. Let's add one. With the Enter key, hit the brackets, and in brackets we'll add our new section called Accounts Payable. Hit the Enter key, and we want to add a parameter called double space check register, so it's DBL space CH key REG equals yes. So we're going to do that right now. DBL space check REG equals yes. We go to File and Save. Now if we bring up our accounts payable check register, run it for summary, we'll just sort it by check, preview it to the screen, we can now see that it's been double-spaced instead of single-spaced. This parameter also controls the cash management check register under Cash Management Reports check register. And if we do this by check number, sort it by check number, do a check register summary, preview it to the screen, then we can see that it's now been double-spaced instead of single-spaced. We'll do one last example, and that's to look at the BW form characteristics. This is where we can add $signs and commas to our forms. We have several options here. Let's take a look. We can use unit $signs. This is going to print $signs on currency values in the unit cost column. If we say no, that will omit any $signs on the unit cost. Same with commas. If we add the yes, it's going to put a comma in any currency value in the unit cost column. No would omit the comma from the currency value in the unit cost column. We also can do unit total $signs. Again, that would print $signs on numeric values in any total cost column. No, of course, would omit that. Same with the total dollar commas. And we also can use total financial negatives as either a parenthesis. Yes would place a parenthesis around a negative value. No would place a minus sign on any negative value. For purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use the total $signs, the total dollar commas, and we're going to select to have our negative values be in parentheses. Currently, when we print our forms, let's preview this to the screen, we can see we have no $signs and no commas. Also, we have a negative value here and it shows as a minus. We're going to change this and add $signs to our invoice total. We're also going to add commas and we're going to put our negative value in parentheses. So again, we need to bring up our BWUSER.INI file. We need to add a new section called BW Form Characteristics. So let's do that now. In brackets, we do BW space form space characteristics. You want to watch your spelling on all of this because any misspells, of course, is going to void out and make null any parameters that you've added. So make sure your spelling is correct. BW space form space characteristics. Okay, we'll hit the enter key and we're going to add our parameters. So we do want to see our commas. So on all unit dollar commas. So we're going to say use unit dollar commas. Again, it's all one word, no spaces, equals yes. That's going to place the commas in there. We're now going to do use total $signs equals yes. That means on the total, we're going to see our $signs. We also want to see dollar commas. See, I got a misspell there. Dollar commas equals yes. And then we're going to add the parameter to place our negative values, and that's negatives plural, use total financial negatives equals yes, and that's going to make our negatives have parenthesis around them instead of the minus sign. Now we'll save our file and we're going to go look at our form again. Looking at the same invoice we previewed earlier, let's do a preview. And we can now see that we have $signs on our totals. We have commas included in all of our fields and our negative values have been put into parentheses. Let's recap what we've learned. The BWUSER.INI file is located in each user's Windows profile folder. So that's located by browsing out to your C drive, under the Users folder, find your Windows User folder, open it up, open the folder called App Data, then Roaming, then Sage BusinessWorks. Inside that folder you will find the BWUSER.INI file. Now remember, the App Data folder is a hidden folder, so you want to make sure that you are showing hidden files and folders if you're not seeing the App Data folder. Also, the BWUSER.INI is specific to each user, so it needs to be edited for each user and on each computer. For each user that uses the program on the same computer, and also if you're using terminal services or Citrix, it needs to be edited for each user that's accessing remotely. And again, maybe one user would like to default to have the check mark removed for the print packing list, and another user would like to have the check mark in the print packing list. You have the option to control that because this file and the settings in this file is user specific. The instructions on editing your BWUSER.INI can be found in the Sage knowledge base by going to support.na.sage.com. Search for how to edit the BWUSER.INI file. That's article number 37251. This concludes our tutorial. We want to thank you for joining us.